Waking Sleeping Beauty is a 2009 documentary about the history of Disney from the 80s to the early 90s. It starts off in the 80s where they're trying to go back to their glory days of making successful animated musical films based on stories that kids love, like when Walt was alive, and they did like Snow White, Peter Pan, Bambi, and Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and all sorts of great films. In the 80s, they tried to do like The Black Cauldron, The Great Mouse Detective, Oliver and Company, Fox and the Hound, but none of those were successful. And then, but in 1989, they were succeeded with Roger Rabbit, the live action animated hybrid movie. And then after that, they succeeded with the fully animated movie, Little Mermaid, almost in Lion King. And then we head on it that began the Disney Renaissance era where it covers like the first few years of it from 89 to 94 with it ends with the release of The Lion King and Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was in charge of the I think he was like CEO of Disney at the time. He resigns, and then we don't get to hear about the rest of the Disney Renaissance era, which disappointed me because I mean, when I first heard of this documentary, I think, well, they did a documentary about the Renaissance era. That's cool. I'd love to see that. But I mean, this documentary is very short. It's 89 minutes long. It only covers the beginning of the Renaissance era. Doesn't go on from there. So we don't get to hear about Pocahontas, The Hunchback, Hercules, Mulan, Nightmare Before Christmas, Toy Story, Bugs Life. Even though Toy Story and Bugs Life were Pixar movies, they were still distributed by Disney, so Disney had a hand with them being successful. So, in my opinion, they should be considered part of the Renaissance. And also, the last movie in the Renaissance era, like the best, a great way to end the era, but I don't think that the Renaissance era should have ended there, is Tarzan. And it they don't mention Tarzan either. So none of those films I mentioned they didn't mention. Well, they only mentioned like the ones from Little Mermaid to Lion King. Because I thought this whole documentary was going to be about that era, and doc, some of these movies they delve into detail a little on the making of them and do present some interesting facts about what went on behind the scenes, some ideas they have for the stories that they never used, and when they talk about Aladdin, we get to see Robin Williams recording his lines for the genie, how happy and jovial he was saying those lines, acting out the genie's persona. And a lot of the lines we hear him say in those recording scenes, they're not in the movies. He just ad libbed a lot, and just Robin Williams being Robin Williams. And I miss Robin Williams. I wish he was still with us to do more stuff. And I hate what he did. Although, like, well, I mean, he would have gone out anyway, regardless, because he had Parkinson's disease that would have led into dementia, which is a horrible way to die. So we didn't want to go out that way. But still, I just Robin could have still had a little fun and made some more stuff until the sickness got a hold of him. I digress. Rest in peace, Robin Williams, if you're up there. And all right, the documentary, I do like the some of the nice, interesting bits of facts they bring out during the making of some of these movies, and I like the behind the scenes footage they show of these like home videos where staff members would take video cameras to the studio and film them and their buddies. They are either working on the movies or playing around doing goofy stuff. Like there's one scene where they're dressed up like soldiers and had toy guns, acting out a battle scene from Apocalypse Now, the Vietnam War movie from the '70s, and the song that's used in that movie, "Ride of the Valkyries," is playing while the studio people are like playing like they're fighting in Vietnam. It's so funny, and a lot of other funny stuff. And I like to see stuff like that. And also during the end credits, we get to see more of that stuff, including more of Robin Williams being Robin Williams. And there's some behind the scenes drama of some like buildings being taken down and getting rebuilt, and people leaving Disney to work on other stuff like Don Bluth during the '80s and Jeffrey Katzenberg during the '90s, and even some people they are gone too soon. Like this one animator, he dies of AIDS, and another guy who was like the COO and president of Disney, he dies in a helicopter crash. And they give those people touching tributes, and In credits, it says this is dedicated to those two, along with other people who passed on since the documentary came out. And I don't know. This is a good documentary. I just wish it delved into more detail. I think stuff like this would work better as like a documentary miniseries or yeah, at least a book because a book can give you a lot more detail than a documentary film or a documentary series can. Oh no, this is good, and I give it a thumbs up for what I did like, thumbs down for what I didn't like. All right, that's it for now. Thank you and God bless. Bye.